I'm gonna try to keep this video as short as possible, but it's a pretty gross topic, so if it's long, sorry. I know my last video was a bit long, sorry. The topic is how I became an exchange student. I got into exchange studency when I was in 8th grade, about spring of 8th grade. I started becoming really interested in other countries, other nationalities, like living abroad, stuff like that. Traveling is a really natural thing for our family, and it's just always interested me. I actually joined a site called Interpals, sort of like Facebook. It's a place where you meet friends and stuff like that, but they're from like around the world. And I really got into that place. I'm part of an art site called DeviantArt, and at the time I was following someone who, actually I still am, called Schumann, and she's from Denmark. I'm like, whoa, I really want to go abroad. Like, it'd be really cool if I could like do college abroad, if I could live abroad, just somehow do like a summer abroad, maybe volunteer, I don't know. And at first I was thinking Denmark. I just got really into it, started looking at things like EF college break, EF, all that stuff, but EF's like weird. I think I'm interested in about 2 years going on a tour with EF, but as an exchange student for a year I was like new. Then I found AFS. I started thinking about places where I can go, and somehow I settled on Germany. I wanted to go to Denmark. Denmark seemed really nice, but then I realized there's nothing to do in Denmark. There's like nothing to do there. Except if you want to travel, you can travel to Scandinavia, the rest of Scandinavia, like Norway and Sweden, especially Sweden. But I'm like, nah, they don't teach you, like Danish is hard, and they didn't teach Danish at my school, but they did teach German. Yeah, so because they had German, because there's something to do in Denmark, I decided, okay, Germany, I'm going to Germany. That started the process of me emailing my mother. Like, I didn't even talk to her face to face about it. We just sent emails. I'm like, Mom, I want to go abroad. It was literally 6 emails that somehow started this. She started looking for scholarships because this stuff isn't cheap. $13,500. That's how much it costs to go to Germany. $13,500. We found CBYX, and at first I'm like, no, I can't go with CBYX because I'd seen it on the AFS site. But on the AFS site, it only has the AFS part of CBYX. It doesn't have the 4 other parts that are part of CBYX. I tried out for CIEE, which is my region CBYX. I got to the semifinals. I almost went with CIEE. Almost. But in the last year events, I did not go with CBYX. I didn't get it accepted in the last round. We had AFS as a backup. We said, okay, we want you to, my mom was like, okay, we want you to go abroad. So we're gonna really try for CBYX, and then we're gonna go for AFS as a backup if you don't get it, but we really, really hope you get CBYX. And because I didn't get CBYX, I went with AFS, and I suggest people whose families are really are open to the idea to use AFS if they're applying for CBYX as a backup, because that's what worked for me. If I hadn't applied for AFS as a backup, then I wouldn't have gone this year, because you find out at the same time, like you apply for CBYX and AFS at the same time. You can't apply like 5 months later when you find out that, oh, I didn't get into CBYX. So yeah, you have to be a bit grateful to your family. Not a bit, you have to be really grateful to your family for letting you do this. If you're interested in becoming an exchange student, you can totally hit me up. On my blog, there's tons of tips, by the way. I don't know how much I can stress this. There are tons of tips on my blog if you want any. I try to be helpful. That's the point of my blog. It's helpfulness. So if you want tips, like the process of applying for CBYX, if you want tips on that, it's chill. Need help? You're interested? Need help with convincing your family? Just hit me up. My family was relatively easy to convince, but not all families are like that. I'll see you in May.